本物のダンスを見せてください。
What happens when you combine goofy characters, nonsensical side quests, humor, and an over-the-top dramatic gangster story? You get Yakuza 0. This is the first in the Yakuza series, as well as my first time playing anything in this game series. So I had to see how was this game because I've heard so much about it. It's a blend of action, comedy, and a compelling gangster drama story that's completely over the top. The voice acting is top-notch, with not a single time where I felt bored by it. However, there is a lot of text to read, there's a decent amount that's not voice acted, so bear that in mind. It has a weird hybrid of fully voiced scenes and still shots with only text. And this is most likely due to budget, and thankfully it doesn't happen too often. The story is full of badass moments and fights, and I will say that it starts off pretty slow for both characters to set up their personalities and backstory. However, it really picks up after the first hour. I found it a bit annoying to have the game switch to the other character right at the climax at certain points in the game, but I quickly got over it because once I got back into the other character's story, it picked up right where it slowed down. There were some story parts that felt forgotten after a while in the second half of the story, but I still felt really invested in the main story, yet I didn't feel lost if I decided to do some sub-stories, which are the side quests, in between missions. I haven't laughed at how ridiculous some of these stories and characters are in the game in a very long time. These characters and stories were just wacky, just didn't make sense, and I didn't care because it was just really funny to me. The most WTF moment I had was either getting a porno mag for a little boy, which me saying that is already just, I'm already in disbelief. And you had to evade any women near you that would judge you so harshly that you had to start the quest over. And there was also, you had to train a girl to be better at S&M and become a better dominatrix. And I realize that when I'm saying this right now, I can't believe what I'm saying. And because of these, like just these two examples, I wanted to find all the sub-stories for the wacky humor. There are approximately 30 to 40 for each character, and I've only maybe gotten through half of them. So there's a lot of content in this game for you. There are two main characters that you swap between characters. The first is Kiryu Kazuma, and he is a Yakuza newbie framed for murder, and he wants to leave as he doesn't feel like this is the right fit for him. He's about what you expect for a main character. He's honor-bound, he has a conscience, and he never strays from his goal. The next person is Goro Majima, and he was my personal favorite. He's an ex-Yakuza who's in charge of a cabaret that wants to get back into the gangster life. He's a very nice change from Kiryu because he's unpredictable, unsure of what kind of person he wants to be, and he hates his current circumstances because while he's managing a cabaret club, it's not the life he wanted, and he's actually trapped in the city. So the game length took me about 50 hours to finish, and this was a mix of the side quests and the main story. You could probably complete it in about 30 hours, yet I would recommend you not just do the main story because there is so much you're missing, and I don't say this lightly because I find with a lot of open world games, the side content usually, especially with Ubisoft games, it's just go to a point on the map, like in Far Cry, and go check it out. There might be like a treasure chest, and that's it. These have quality in it. because these are packed with minigames and side quests. And if you're worried about this game lacking content and good content, you need to play this now, because you can do the batting cage, you can go play pool, you can play darts, go do disco, fishing, shogi, play some old Sega retro games. There's phone dating, there's blackjack, there's cat fights, an underground cat fight league that you get to choose, and it's based on a rock paper scissors system. There's poker, there's karaoke, which was so much fun. There's a real estate domination exclusive to Kiryu. And there's my favorite, the cabaret club management, which I spent at least 20 hours on. It's a huge side activity that has its own set of quests and storyline. You have to level up your cabaret girls you get, and you can also change their appearance of the top tier rarity of girls. Yes, there are tiers of girls in this side quest. When you level up, they increase in stats, and there's 4 rarity tiers. There's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Combat is action focused, as each character has 3 stances or forms. There's a fast, medium, and heavy. You can upgrade skills with money you get, and these could be anything from more damage, health, new abilities, or combos. There are trainers for each fighting stance located in each character's city, though you do need to level up to a certain point to keep progressing for that training. I found that Majima's fighting forms were way more interesting to me, because you can use things like breakdancing to beat up people, or slamming a baseball bat to lay on the hurt, and it really fits into his unpredictability and unorthodox fighting style. And I think that's what's so strongly about this combat. It really makes me feel like these are their ways of fighting, and I think the game developers really nailed that. And I found that Kiryu's wasn't bad, it was just more traditional martial arts that reflected his personality, like I said. There's enemy variety with the grunts, which have low health, can be defeated very quickly, be stun locked, or grabbed. And then there are bigger guys that have more health and armor that ignores your attacks at times. Sprinkled throughout the game, very rarely, are climax battles, which are the boss battles in this game. And these were some of the most epic fights I've played in a very long time. It pits your character against a story boss, typically in a one-on-one fight. That, though, later in the game, it does start to pit you off against a mix of grunts and the heavy guys, like I mentioned, plus the boss. So you have to use what you've learned throughout the whole game up until that point and do your best. It's because of these climax battles that I think got me so excited to play the game even after I finished, because there was just the hype music that just kicks in and you just scream out, "Let's go." Speaking of the music, it's really good. It fits every boss battle, any battle on the streets, from just fighting random gangsters that just want to pick a fight with you, or duking it out against the boss. You can save only in phone booths or at the end of chapters. There are restaurants and stores that sells drinks or food that you can buy to have a storage of health recovery to use in fights. Just in conclusion, this game is awesome. I instantly fell in love with this game from the start. I was immediately hooked and I wanted to keep going till the end. The well-made cutscenes, compelling storylines, the writing, and the content available for the player is fantastic. I can't emphasize that enough. And I can't wait to play the rest of the Yakuza games, and I am now a fan of the series. If you've been on the fence whether this game is for you, there's a lot of charm and fun to be found in this game.